Hi, my name is Jennifer Labodi from Harmony School of Science High, and I partnered up with Elizabeth Alaka. Together we discovered the truth of the human lung. We researched about the lung, and using our prior knowledge and our research, we constructed a physical model of the lungs. Creating a model of the lungs is beneficial for many reasons. Making a model can make the process of learning about it easier and more understandable. Some people, like me, learn easier by visual models that you can see and touch as well. Models can also help the information about a subject be easier to understand and remember. Therefore, we created a model so it would be easier for others to learn and retain information about the main organ in the respiratory system, the lungs. Most people may already know, but the lung is one of the most important organs in the human body. The lungs are a vital organ to human survival and the most important organ in the respiratory system. The lungs are composed of many areas, including the trachea, which leads the air inhaled further into the lungs, the bronchi, tubular branches where the oxygen is carried, the bronchioles, even smaller branches, and the alveoli, where the gas exchange occurs. Once the gas exchange between oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place, the carbon dioxide travels up into the lungs until it is exhaled from the mouth. Then the process repeats every time we breathe. This is the respiratory system. The lungs play an important role in this process that allows us to breathe, which is the reason why we are alive. In order to recreate the lungs, we used white air-dry clay to make the lungs itself as well as the trachea. We also used an assortment of paints, red, blue, and green, to show what's inside of the lungs. We used a paintbrush, knife, wooden stick, styrofoam board, rubber cement, foam brush, hot glue gun, hot glue sticks as well. Here are the steps that Elizabeth used in order to create our lung model. First, open the container of air-dry clay. Next, sculpt the clay into the shape of a lung. Then repeat step 2 again in order to create the other lung. Leave the lungs to dry. It took about 2 days for us. While the lungs dry, work on the trachea. In order to create the trachea, first break a wooden stick in half. Then place the stick you have just broken into a piece of styrofoam board. Put a piece of clay on the top of the stick and continue to add clay in order to sculpt the trachea. Wait for the trachea to dry. It took about a day for us. When both the lung and the trachea are done drying, paint the lung with the paints, painting the parts of the lung, and leave to dry for about an hour. When dry, paint both the lung and the trachea with the rubber cement and leave it to dry. When that's dry, hot glue the lungs to the trachea, add sticks and put it through the foam board for extra support if needed. Add any finishing touches and you are done. For my ELA connection, I wrote a short story about a girl who is very athletic. One day she gets asthma, and as a result she learns a lesson about the importance of her lungs. She also learns how to deal with her asthma while playing sports at the same time, as well as the importance of keeping her lungs healthy. Elizabeth's ELA connection is about a Russian mob leader named Igor Dmitry, who is trying to steal a lung model that cures any lung disease or injury from Harvey and Rosemary. He later falls for Rosemary, but she's dating Harvey, so he kidnaps her. He's later stopped by Harvey and the police, then shoot him to death. And while all of that is happening, Harvey gets shot somehow too, in the lung. But the lung model that him and Rosemary created saves him. My social studies connection to the lung model we created is the effect of attaining more knowledge of the human lungs and how the knowledge changed society. Because of the discoveries made by earlier physicians, we now know much more about the lungs and how they function. Elizabeth's social studies connection to the lung model is a connection to society. It's about how people use the lung model with real human cells to test medicines and surgical equipment used for lung injuries and different cases of lung diseases. The main purpose of our project was to create a lung model in order to help demonstrate and understand the structure of the human lung. Constructing a model of the lung is a great way to learn about the respiratory system. In our project, we created a lung model based on the human lung. Through the model, we show the structure of our lungs.